Well, that's strange. It said back to recording regularly. I didn't realize I was recording irregularly. Okay, we're back here. Let me get a little more something. Now we're back here. Yeah, I wanted to go somewhere else. I wanted to go like over here, which you can't really see very well, but I would have, of course, lit it up. But no, we're back here for this one. That looks alright, I guess. So why am I here? That looks like I'm a little high. Let me see if I can come down. Take a lewd and come down. Ludens. Okay. Who remembers Quaaludes? Probably not many. I could never understand the appeal of coming down. Back in my youthful recreational days, we'll just call them. Never could figure out why people would want to come down. I mean, man, the whole idea was to stay up all night. Yeah, drink as much beer as you could. Yay. Anyway. It's May. And I realized, like, shortly after the last VBlog that I forgot. I had some relics. Yes. Relics from the past relating to my first record. In fact, here is the only existing copy, right here, of the 45 that I released in 1983. So this is technically an antique if it were a car. I don't know what a record is, and since it isn't, wrapped in paper, it's probably worthless, but it's mine. So this here is the cover. This was supposed to be the A side, which means the lead, which was going to be I Can't See You in My Dreams. And this drawing here is me, believe it or not, at the time. Wasn't that far off. I was clean shaven. I had bangs. I was quite what did one girl call me? An Adonis. Yeah, and she ran off with another guy, but hey, it's alright. Okay. And it's actually autographed. It says, "To Mom and Dad, love always, Paul Anthony Tait," because I was using my middle name professionally at the time. And then down here is the signature of the artist, Johanna, not Joanna, Johanna A, which I never knew what that stood for. Anyway, Spires. She was my fiance. Went out for 2 when we were engaged for 2, so 4 years altogether. And then the flip side, she designed and drew. Well, I told her what to do. She just drew it for Pop Musician. Now, this is the song that actually got the airplay. And then if you open this up, yes, there's goodies inside. You have this, which I printed myself, set the type, linotype, and printed at my old place of work, Daymark. This was all done on crash press. You can even see on the back and feel, where the type, crashed. They call it crashing into the paper and leaving the printing. You can feel it on the back. It's pretty cool. And this was done in '82. And that was the insert, like the liner notes, which I don't know what it would have cost me to have them to do it. And then here is the record. I Can't See You in My Dreams. And on the flip side, a somewhat mangled, but again, this is all that remains, Pop Musician. This is my first record, and only actual vinyl record, because the next thing I did was a cassette. Selector and the Seed was the single. Then came Eagle and Hammer with Gossip Column. And then came Drought. Came the years banging head with Ed in the studio that we built, or he ended up building. And ultimately, we got some really great stuff out of it, as I've told you before. And here, to help promote, when I realized pop musician was really what people liked and was going to get the airplay, I had t-shirts made of the back of the record. Pretty cool, huh? I have two of these left. I have this one in black and another one in light blue with black printing, and I also had white at the time. So I had three colors, all the sizes, nothing on the back, and yeah, pretty cool. So that is all that remains. All that's left is all that remains of 1983. Now this little thing here is not a movie. No, this is a Paul Tait Master 1. And then here in tiny print on Toshiba PCM. Yet up here it says Paul Tait Tape 2, but here it says Master 1. So I don't even know what's on. Was pretty, it's cued to song, please omit noise at beginning. Thank you, Paul Anthony Tait. My notes to the tape maker. So this must be, the heck is this? The Song to the Moon, Pop Musician, Can't See You in My Dreams, Song to the Moon, Pop Musician, Heart of the Dawn. So this is the cassette that would be released of the reimaginings of these two songs that were done by John Riley in 1987 with, I would say with Ed, but it was at Ed Nyes in 87. John joined us and really pushed us into another level because Ed and I couldn't figure out for the life of us how to work the damn drum machine that we bought. Couldn't get it to do anything. I mean, that was about it, Or we just couldn't get it to sing, as it were. Couldn't create our own beats, as they say today. No, it's make my beats. Isn't that what Kanye West calls it? I make my own beats. Well, we couldn't make a beat. John came and just knew how to master the machine. So he pushed us into a different level, taught us how to do that, and ultimately we got a better drum machine, and it was much easier to use. But this was the re-recordings of those two songs, plus Song to the Moon, which was really a breakthrough for Ed and I. It is to this day, in my opinion, the closest of my songs. Anyway, I mean, Ed did a boatload of really, really awesome sounding recordings. Once we got the group together, just he and John together, or he alone, whatever, just great stuff. And I've told him recently, I said, man, other than you didn't, there's no reason why you can't be out on iTunes and have your own Ed Daly collection, or through the years Ed Daly, or the best of Ed Daly. I mean, he's got oh God, just too many fantastic songs. And you can never have too many, but there's so many. And wow, really, really ought to be out there. And he knows it. He commended me. He says, you got out of the basement. I'm like, well, I got out of the basement because you told me about TuneCore. He says, yeah, but you went ahead and did it. I said, well, yeah, but I was at that point where I really wanted to get out. I was sick of having all of this catalog just sitting in my basement. I was tired of the years of it all just doing nothing, and nothing locally was available anymore. It was all the places I used to consign through were gone. This is 2007, by the way, I'm talking about now. And, again, everything was gone. And I was, just looking. I wanted desperately to leave evidence that I had existed, besides my box in the basement at the time of the collections of everything, the writing. That was it. That was all the existence of my life on Earth was in this metal munitions box my father had from World War II. Now they're in 3 fireproof, waterproof safes. But the difference this time is that I have stuff on all the online stores, Musically, and of course the books of poetry, which I will circle back around to. But the last bit of nostalgia, old-timiness, this is my business card from the early 90s. And notice the design of my name. Now, if this looks horrible, I'll just pop it up as a picture. But the design of the name, that was done by a girl named Kristen. Yes, I had a knack for attracting artistic young ladies. Kristen was like a, and I know the Neil Young song is going to come up, like a hurricane. You know, she blew through my life and blew out of my life and left in her wake. Emotional, like destruction. And it's my own fault. I don't blame her. I knew I was old enough when I met her to know that this wasn't the greatest idea in the world to get deeply involved with her. I knew it. But she was so beautiful. So sexy. I just couldn't. So I risked it. And yeah, I got burned. But was it worth it? Yes. To a certain degree. But like so many affairs of mine, I never got to fully, that's a good way of putting it. Kristen, if you're watching, you might remember. I never got to fully explore her, before the end. Yeah. I never got to that, complete level, but that's all right. So, poetry. How am I doing with it? I'm doing nothing. I haven't done a thing since last we spoke. It's still at the number it was at as far as making the new volume. And that's on purpose. It's not because I lost interest. No, I purposely stopped. I had to stop myself because I was just going and going, and I was going to have everything done now, and it'd be too soon, to put out another volume. And I didn't want to spend 4 months editing because then you never stop. You get and I call it, engineer's disease. Which is mostly for recording engineers. I also call it Tom Schultz disease, TSD, is when nothing's ever done. It's like you can just keep listening, or in this case of poetry, reading over and over and over and over and over again. And you know what? You're going to find something every single time. You're going to find something you don't like. Even if it's like, well, this should be all lowercase instead of capitalized. So, take the A out. You're doing that. You're taking consonants out. You're taking, whatever, and it's never done. And that usually again happens with music. You keep listening to songs, and you're always going to find something that's not right. There has to come a point where it's done, and you, if you're doing things yourself, you have to set a goal, like a deadline, for yourself. And stick to it. Have it be not a soft deadline, meaning, well, it's really just me, and, No, I don't care if you have to build some kind of voodoo superstition around it. You set a deadline and say, if I am done by X date, that's it. I'm done. It's done. It is what it is. The document is what it is. It's not going to get any better. It really isn't. It is what it is.